Hello everybody, I'm Mark and welcome to Life in France. Life in France versus the UK. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about car problems. Basically, yesterday was a day from hell. Now, guys, I'll be honest, I thought before all this COVID started, I was pretty indestructible. You know, I worked in a very hard environment, life assurance as a sales person. And basically I just thought, you know, bullets would just bounce off me. But since COVID, whether it's a sign of the stress that's related to it, I find that day-to-day stresses really affect me. And yesterday was a day from hell. I took the boys to school and halfway up a very steep incline, the car stopped. So we had to walk back home. Thankfully, it was only a 10-minute walk. But when I got home, I contacted my insurance company, Axa, and literally within half an hour, the lorry turned up to take my car away. Now the car was booked in for next week for a particular job to be done on the engine. The guy told me it was okay to drive, but as you saw, it conked out yesterday. So the lorry took the car to the garage and I'm now left in middle of rural France without a car. So I contact AXA and they said, yep, not a problem, under your insurance we will give you a courtesy car. Have you got anyone to take you to where it's located? And I said no. They said, oh, that's okay then, we'll provide a taxi for you. So they said the taxi would be here in half an hour. An hour later the taxi came, picked me up, and you know, you think taxi drivers know their way around, and he had a sat nav as well. He went the wrong direction to where we were going, which was Pontivy. And I thought, oh, perhaps he knows a back road. So he went off through the country lanes. He drove for 20 minutes only to get to a roundabout the other side of my town that takes me 5 minutes to get to. So obviously on the clock. So we drive on to Pontivy, get there, he can't find the location. He says it's number 6 Certain Road. He's driving around for about 10 minutes trying to find it. Turns out it's a big Opel garage, selling cars and servicing Opels and Saphiras. So I was asked before I went to go and get the car how long I've been driving, and I gave him all my licence details. And the other thing he said was, do you have a French credit card? And I said yes. He said, well, they need to take your details just in case there's an accident in your fault. And I thought, okay, so that's fine, fair enough. So they're just going to take my card details. So we get there about 20 minutes before closing time, 6 o'clock curfew now in France. And the girl is sort of going through all the paperwork with me, and she says, oh, we need your credit card please, and we're going to take €1,200. I said, pardon? Oh, we're not actually physically taking it out your account, but just in the event that you have an accident and it's your fault, then we take €1,200 off of this card. And I said, I've never been told this, €1,200. Now, I've not mentioned it before, but I'm going to do a video on money, but my credit card's limited to spending €1,500 per month. It doesn't matter whether you've got 10,000 euros in that account, I'm limited to 1,500. And I explained this to the girl, and she said, well, you know, we can't give you the car if you don't do it. So I attempted it, and sure enough, it failed, because I've been doing some shopping. And then she said, well, what can you do? I said, 200. And she said, sort of laughed at me and said, well, what would you accept then? She said, 900. So I put that in and it was accepted. But then I thought, well, hang on a minute. If my card was rejected on the 1,200, then that obviously means that I'm going to be restricted for future payments this current month. And they're now sort of holding 900 potentially in the event I have an accident. And it's also going to stop me from paying any other utility bills, doing general food shopping. And I just thought, no, this doesn't sound right. So I refused the car. And I said, I need to speak to AXA. So she gave me a phone. I'm trying to sort it out. I've told AXA, look, you haven't told me that I had to pay €1,200. I explained the situation with my card. And I said, look, I'm now 25 miles away from my house. I need you to get me a taxi and take me home. He said, yeah, okay, I'll sort that out. The girl's now come up to me and said, right, it's 5 to 6, we're closing at 6, you need to leave. So I was forced out of the Opel garage and standing in the rain waiting for a taxi. Now, bearing in mind the earlier taxi was supposed to be half an hour and it took an hour for them to turn up, I stood outside in the rain for an hour and 10 minutes before I called Axa again, only to find out that a taxi hadn't been ordered. So I ordered another one at that point, and I was actually standing in the rain for an hour and 45 minutes. And the worst thing was, for me, customer service in France, there were people in the Opel garage while I was waiting outside. Now surely just common courtesy would be, look, we understand you're waiting for a taxi, you didn't take our car, however, you're more than welcome just to sit in the lobby and just wait for your taxi to arrive. No, in France it's please leave the building. Couldn't believe it. So I eventually got home, and what a wasted evening. I've now phoned the garage. They're actually going to start work on the car a lot earlier than first expected, and they've actually got a courtesy car for me this coming Monday. So everything's okay. The boys have had to miss 2 days of school, but at least they're back on Monday. But you know, that's the scenario in France. But I can give you this was a nightmare situation for some guests that we had staying at our cottage. They turned up, they had a nice Jaguar car, and on the second day their car broke down. Now they were UK residents, they had UK car insurance, and this was what happened to them. No trouble whatsoever for their car to be returned back to the UK. A lorry came and towed it away, and off it went. But they were left in limbo. They were stuck in our cottage in the middle of rural France, and they were told they had to make their own way to a train station in Van, which was 25 miles away. A taxi would have cost them 80 euros. That's another thing, how expensive taxis are in France. So they asked me to drop them off at the station, which I said, yeah, no problem. So I drove them to Van station. They then had to get a train from Van to Rennes. At Rennes, they picked up a hire car, but the hire car didn't allow them to drive directly to the port where they were getting their ferry. They had to literally drive about 10 miles from the port and deliver the hire car back to the depot, and then get a taxi from there to the port. What a palaver. I felt so sorry for them because, you know, it just ruined their whole holiday. The fact that their insurance company wouldn't get them straight back or provide a car for them from my place to the port. And, you know, I guess insurance companies are the same all round. You know, you have to be very careful on what cover you have and what you actually don't have. Now, there's another situation with me in that my car was hit one night by a drunk driver. And my car was towed away the following day, and I called my insurance company and said, do you provide a courtesy car? Nope. I said, pardon? No, we don't provide a courtesy car when your car's been written off. We just provide a final settlement payment, and that's it. I said, hang on a minute. In the UK, if I was to have a write-off, I'm provided a courtesy car. How am I supposed to buy myself a new car stuck in the middle of rural France if I don't have a car to go and look at other cars? And I really had to push the point with my insurance guy, and in the end I think he paid for it himself, because obviously the amount of money that I'm actually paying for him, because I've got buildings insurance, contents insurance, public indemnity and my car insurance and my health insurance, so I'm paying a lot of premium into his business over the last 14 years, so I think he didn't want to lose me as a customer. And rather than providing a taxi, he actually got his own car, bless him, and drove me to Pontivy to pick up a hire car. And he actually paid for it out of his own pocket. I saw him use his own credit card to pay for it, to give me a week to get myself sorted. Which I did. But, you know, you've got to be so careful as regards to what you have within your insurance, because your expectations of what you have to what you actually do have could be totally different. Guys, we also had some guests from Holland that had car trouble while in France. You know, they were here on holiday. I think they came in a camper van, and they were sort of 5 or 6 strong, and their camper van broke down on day 3, and their insurance company again towed away their camper van, and provided a courtesy car for them, a Fiat Punto. It's one of those cars that's so small if it breaks down you just pick it up and walk it home. But God knows how they got all in the car. But when it came to getting home at the end of the holiday, they drove the Fiat Punto back and they had to arrange with the insurance company a transit van to come along and pick up all their luggage to take back to Holland. And the problem was it got lost. It took 5 or 6 weeks to get all their luggage back. So I guess the moral of this story is, if ever you're going on holiday to a foreign country with your car, make sure you're fully covered with your insurance and make sure you know exactly what happens if you do break down in France. Can you get back home? Can your vehicle get back home? Can your luggage get back home? How easy is it for you to get back home? Please make sure if you're driving in a foreign country you know what your insurance covers you for, because at the end of the day it's horrible when you do get into a situation and you find you're not covered. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this small slice of life in France. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to hit the red button because you don't want to miss any future releases. Thanks ever so much for watching and I'll see you again soon. Take care everybody.